You are listening to another episode of Drunken Unemployed. We are your hosts, Justin Steele and Kelly Cocktail.
Whoa there, partner.
Uh,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
all right, all right.
But you are joining us for another deep dive. That much is true.
That's right. And today, we're going deep into the world of horror.
Ooh, spooky.
Specifically conventions, filmmaking, and a documentary that's trying to capture it all. Making horror, conventions and filmmaking revealed.
Sounds intriguing. What do we have to work with today?
We've got their website and the trailer for the documentary, so plenty to unpack.
Okay, I'm ready to dive in. I feel like we've all seen those little snippets of horror conventions online, like, the costumes, the celebrities.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what is it really like? What's the draw? And what can we learn about filmmaking from the people who, well, basically make our nightmares?
Such good questions. And it seems
Yeah.
like this documentary, Making Horror, is trying to answer those very questions.
Awesome.
And just so everyone knows, it's a nonprofit project, so they're looking for donations to help finish it up.
That's cool. These passion projects are always so interesting.
Totally. If anyone listening is interested in supporting them, you can reach out at info@makinghorror.org.
Good to know. So from their website, it looks like they're trying to uncover the artistry and cultural impact of horror, especially focusing on these conventions.
Yeah, and there's this emphasis on the blend of horror and humor at these events, which I find really interesting.
What do you think they mean by that? Like, what comes to mind when you hear that?
Well, just from looking at the website, you get this feeling of, like, playful terror.
Playful terror. I like that.
Yeah. It's like a celebration of everything creepy, but with a wink and a nod. It's giving me horror comedy vibes, like those movies where you're screaming and laughing at the same time.
Oh, totally. Horror and humor, they're two sides of the same coin, aren't they?
Definitely.
Like, they both tap into our fears and anxieties, but humor gives us this way to process those emotions in a safe, almost cathartic way.
Yeah, and it seems like these conventions provide a space for fans to embrace that duality.
To really lean into the darkness, but also find a sense of community and shared experience.
Exactly. The website talks about cosplayers bringing your nightmares to life. But it's not just the monsters and villains, you know?
Oh, interesting. So it's more than just the typical scary stuff.
Yeah. People are dressing up as the final girls, too, like the heroes. It's like this living, breathing tribute to the whole genre.
That's so cool. I can see how that would be really appealing to fans to actually step into the stories they love.
For sure. And I bet meeting the celebrities who bring those characters to life adds another layer to the experience.
Oh, absolutely. Getting to meet the people behind the masks, so to speak, that must be incredible for fans.
Totally. And speaking of celebrities, have you seen the lineup in the trailer? It's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
We've got Bill Moseley, Kane Hodder, Ginger Lynn, Tom Arnold, even James Murray. Murray from Impractical Jokers is in there.
Wow, that's an interesting mix. I'm curious to see what everyone brings to the table.
Me too. It definitely seems like they're trying to appeal to a wide range of people, not just the diehard horror fans.
Yeah, inviting a broader audience to maybe rethink how they see the genre.
Exactly. It's not just about the gore and scares. It's about showcasing the creativity, the artistry, the different people who contribute to this world.
I'm into it. Shall we check out the trailer and see what these horror icons have to say?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's hear what these horror legends have to say.
All right, first up is Kane Hodder. You know, the guy who played Jason Voorhees in a bunch of the Friday the 13th movies?
Oh, yeah, he's a legend. I mean, talk about practical effects and stunts.
Right, and his involvement really speaks to that behind-the-scenes magic.
Totally. Like, we often focus on the actors and directors, but the special effects artists are the ones who actually bring these creatures to life.
Absolutely. And I've heard that Kane Hodder is super dedicated to his craft, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible with practical effects.
Yeah, he's not just a stuntman. He's a true artist.
Exactly. And the fact that he's in this documentary makes me think they're going to dive into those practical aspects of filmmaking.
The nuts and bolts of how these iconic creatures are made.
Exactly. And speaking of icons, next up in the trailer is Bill Moseley.
Oh, Bill Moseley. I love him. House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects.
He's a horror legend.
Oh.
And he represents this whole gritty, southern, grindhouse style of horror.
Oh, for sure. He always plays these unhinged characters. They really get under your skin.
And his presence in the documentary suggests that they're going to explore the different subgenres of horror, you know?
Yeah, the different flavors that appeal to different people.
Right. And Bill Moseley is the perfect example of that raw, visceral style.
And then we have Ginger Lynn, another horror icon, been working in the genre for decades.
Yeah, she's so interesting. I mean, she's really navigated this male-dominated world with grace and resilience.
Absolutely. And it's cool to see her included alongside Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley.
Totally. It shows that they're not just focusing on the male perspective, but also highlighting the contributions of women in horror.
And Ginger Lynn has done it all. Slashers, erotic thrillers, indie horror.
Right. She brings this unique perspective on how the genre has evolved and the challenges of being a woman in horror.
Definitely. Okay, this next one is a bit of a curveball. James Murray from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him in the trailer. Not exactly known for horror, is he?
Huh, right. It definitely made me curious.
Me too. But I think it shows that they're trying to broaden the conversation around horror, show that it's not just for die-hard fans.
Yeah, maybe he's a secret horror fan. Or maybe he's representing the newbies, the people just dipping their toes into the genre.
I like that. Like, hey, even someone who's known for pranks and comedy can find something to appreciate in horror.
Exactly. Breaking down those barriers and misconceptions.
Showing that horror can be accessible, even funny sometimes.
Which brings us back to that whole horror and humor connection.
Right. Conventions being a space where you can embrace the darkness and the laughter all at once.
Totally. And I think including James Murray in the trailer hints at that duality.
Like, horror doesn't always have to be serious and scary. It can be playful, too.
Exactly. Okay, one of my favorite lines from the trailer is when the filmmaker, Alan, says, "Join me and some of the most notable people in the industry as we discuss how to make a horror movie."
Oh, I love that. It's like an invitation to peek behind the curtain.
And it suggests that the documentary isn't just talking about horror, it's showing you how it's done.
Yeah, like a master class in horror filmmaking from the masters themselves.
And speaking of experience, the executive producer, Frank Pucciani, has been in the industry for over 30 years.
Yeah, he's a SAG member, super experienced. Having him on board definitely adds credibility to the project.
For sure. It shows that this is a serious endeavor with professionals at the helm.
Which is reassuring for potential viewers. Okay, so we've got horror icons, aspiring filmmakers, a look at convention culture, and behind-the-scenes filmmaking insights.
It does seem like they're covering all the bases.
But I think the real question is, what makes horror conventions so special?
That's a great question. What is it about these events that draws people in and creates such a dedicated community?
Yeah, why are they so unique?
That's a tough one to answer. There's a lot to unpack there, but I do think there's a growing appreciation for horror as a genre, and I think these conventions are a big part of that.
Really? I mean, I get why horror fans would love them, but what about people who don't usually watch scary movies? Would they enjoy it too?
I think even if you don't consider yourself a horror fan, there's something about the genre that just draws you in. You know, it's like this fascination with the unknown, with things that are taboo, things that go bump in the night.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But what about the humor we talked about? Does that make it more accessible?
Oh, absolutely. Humor helps us deal with our fears. It's like we can engage with these dark and disturbing themes without getting too overwhelmed.
Right, it's like a safe space to laugh at the scary stuff, to scream at a jump scare, and then actually talk about what it all means.
Exactly. You can explore the darker side of humanity without being judged. Embrace your inner monster and connect with people who get it.
So it's not just about being scared, it's about the shared experience, the community.
Exactly. Horror conventions give you a sense of belonging, a place to connect with people who share your passion for the genre, who understand why you love a good jump scare or a slow burn thriller.
I'm starting to understand the appeal.
Uh-huh.
It's like a secret club for people who like to explore the shadows.
And the best part is, anyone can join. Horror conventions are becoming more and more mainstream, which I think shows that the genre is becoming more accepted.
That's really cool. It's like horror is finally being recognized as a real art form with rich history and so many different styles.
Exactly. And documentaries like Making Horror are helping to shine a light on all of that, to showcase the creativity, the skill, the passion that goes into making these films.
It's like they're saying, hey, there's more to horror than just blood and guts. There are real stories here, real artistry, and a community of people who are keeping this genre alive.
Perfectly said. And I think that message will resonate with people even if they haven't seen a lot of horror movies.
I hope so. It would be amazing if this documentary inspired more people to explore the genre, to discover the hidden gems, and the unique voices that are shaping the future of horror.
Me too. And who knows, maybe some viewers will even be inspired to make their own horror movies.
Now, that would be something. But even if you're not interested in filmmaking, there's still something to be gained from exploring horror. It can challenge your perceptions, push you out of your comfort zone, and help you understand yourself and the world a little better.
You're absolutely right. Horror can be a powerful tool for self-reflection. It forces us to confront our fears, to look at our darker impulses, and hopefully come out of the experience with more empathy and understanding.
So it's not just entertainment, it's personal growth too.
In a way, yes. Horror can be cathartic. It can help us process trauma, face our anxieties, and find a sense of empowerment in the face of fear.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. It's like horror can be a mirror, reflecting our own inner demons and the fears of society.
Exactly. And by confronting those fears, by engaging with the darkness, we can learn to navigate life's complexities with more understanding and compassion.
That's beautifully put. And I think that's a message everyone can appreciate, no matter what genres they enjoy.
I agree. So, to our listeners, we encourage you to check out the Making Horror website, learn more about the project, and consider donating if you can.
Definitely. And if you're feeling adventurous, maybe even check out a horror convention near you. You might be surprised at what you find.
I think you'll discover a welcoming community, a celebration of creativity, and a deeper appreciation for the power of horror to entertain, to teach, and to bring us together.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the mysteries of the mind and the allure of horror.
Huh.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.